All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So, today I actually want to talk about raising an altar of sacrifice. Raising an altar of sacrifice. So, first of all, what is actually a sacrifice? So, a sacrifice, or rather, what is an altar of sacrifice? So, I want to try as much as possible to break it down, in such a way that we'll be able to understand. Of course, an altar of sacrifices is a platform where exchanges takes place. It's a platform where exchanges take place. When we talk about exchanges, we're talking about spiritual exchange, spiritual transaction takes place. It takes place on the altar of sacrifice. It's a platform where spiritual, exchanges takes place. It is a platform. It's just like when you are making an altar of sacrifice. It's more or less like it is an application for divine intervention. It is an application for divine visitation. It is you saying that you want God to come and intervene for you. You need God to come and put an end to whatever things that you are going through in your life. So it is an application for divine intervention, an application for divine visitation. Do you understand? That was what Solomon did. That God had to, visit him in the middle of the night. You get what I'm saying? I could remember when my wife wanted to give birth to our first child that time. So, we noticed that the enemy was trying to do one thing or the other, maybe to try to frustrate the pregnancy or things like that. So what did I do? I packaged some seed and I went to go and sow it. Do you understand? And when I did that, before my wife even gave birth, she said she had a dream, and in that dream, somebody that she know wanted to spoil the pregnancy, but immediately, some like a doctor came and sent the person away. You get? So these are some of the things that sacrifices does for you. Do you understand? So one thing about sacrifices is that it will take you from the level in which you are to another level. It's more or less like you are saying that spirit is fighting spirit. Do you understand? That is what sacrifice is all about. It is spirit fighting spirit while humanity steps aside. Do you understand? It is spirit fighting spirit while humanity steps aside. You have the spirit of God and we have the demonic spirit. So when you raise an altar of sacrifice, God fights on your behalf. You don't need to do any fighting again. Do you understand? God will be the one to fight on your behalf, to give you the victory you are looking for. That is why if you are a businessman, or maybe you are working in a company, or anywhere you are working, as a matter of fact, or maybe you are this kind of person, maybe as a family person. Do you understand? It's very, very important for you to always raise an altar of sacrifice so that God can protect you, so that God can keep increasing you. When I was doing business back then in Lagos, I always ensure that I raise an altar of sacrifice. And whenever I do that, you get, my office is usually filled with clients. That at the time, people even thought that I was doing money ritual or something like that. Why? Because I was doing so well. People that I even met in that business, they began to be envious of me. Do you understand? Why? Because I was always raising an altar of sacrifice. So it made me to be more prosperous in my business, in what I was doing. You get what I'm saying? So if you desire a change in your business, if you desire to grow, to succeed more, you need to learn to raise an altar of sacrifice so that you don't end up being a mediocre. Do you understand? You need to raise it. You need to talk to God. The whole Lord, I'm sowing this seed. Come and prosper my business. Let my business grow. Do you understand? And when you do that, then you begin to see, what God is going to be doing in that your business. Do you understand? It is, see, this altar of sacrifice. It is a spiritual language that is recognized by God and also by demons. Look at what happened in the scripture. I think that is the book of Second Kings. When the king of Moab was fighting with the Israelites, God was supporting the Israelites. Do you understand? But when the king of Moab saw that he was losing the battle, what did he do? He slay his first child, that's the heir to the throne. He slayed it on the wall. And God became angry at the Israelites, his own people. God became angry at them. So that is to tell you and to show to you that it is a very powerful something. Let me put it like that. It is a very powerful principle. Raising an altar is a very powerful principle in which God can be so angry at your enemy. God will now begin to fight on your behalf. Do you understand? That is how powerful, altar of sacrifice is. Do you understand? It will make God to be on your side. Look at what happened to David when God was, destroying the people because of the mistake David made. David said, "I will not give to God that which cost me nothing." And when David raised an altar of sacrifice, what happened? The destruction stopped. The destruction stopped. You get what I'm saying? So, there are a lot of instances of where sacrifices has been raised, altar of sacrifice has been raised, and what God did, in the aftermath. You get what I'm saying? Even look at Noah in the scripture. Bible says Noah gave of every clean beast, and because of that, God saw that he would no longer destroy earth. Why? Because God smelled a sweet savor, a sweet aroma. Do you understand? And God made that declaration that he will no longer destroy earth because of man. Do you understand? So the thing is that if you desire, even in the area of your health, there are some things that you might be going through. Maybe it is even an enemy that is attacking you. Do you understand? When you try raising an altar of sacrifice, when you do, you come to understand that God will destroy the works of the enemy. I remember that that was this year. When I transferred money to a man, I just transferred money, and the man used that money against me. That my business began to crumble. As a matter of fact, my office, in that revelation, they turned down my office to what they call it, to a place where they are grinding pepper. So when I saw this in a revelation, what did I do? I began to pray, and I packaged a seed of 400,000, and I went to sow it as a seed. So I continued praying. After a while, or something like that, all of a sudden, the man just went somewhere, and that was how the man died. You get what I'm saying? So for you to understand that this thing called altar of sacrifice is very powerful. You can't joke with it. Don't joke with it. Do you understand? It will save you from a lot of headaches. One thing about sacrifice is that, as much as prayer is good, sacrifice is also very, very effective. Very effective. If you can learn to always apply that principle, you will always see results in your life. If you want to see yourself growing from one level to the other, do you understand? You need to engage the principle of sacrifice. Our fathers in faith, like Bishop Edepo, they've talked severally on it. So if you know that you want a change of level in your life, if you want a change of level in your life, if you want to come out of that problem that you are facing in your life, you need to always consider raising an altar of sacrifice. Do you understand? You need to consider raising an altar of sacrifice. Look at all these politicians. Why are all these politicians becoming governors and stuff like that? It's because they are raising an altar of sacrifices. Do you understand? They are giving something that is very dear to them so that they'll be able to mount that position, so that they'll be enthroned. It's not an easy thing. You can't say you're a Christian, you are just only praying. You are praying. God even promised you that He's going to give you that business or that job or that position. So you are praying, you are thanking God. Why this unbeliever, do you understand? Though he does not know how to pray, but he went to go and meet an herbalist, and probably gave an herbalist, a very huge sum of money. Do you understand? Or maybe whatever they requested for, he gave it to them. Do you understand? And eventually, the unbeliever now got the position that both of you were competing for. Do you understand? Why? Because he did what you refused to do. And God will accept sacrifices. And that is why God honored it. So think very well. Think very well. Altar of sacrifice will change your life for good. Don't joke with it. It will change your life for good. Don't joke with it.